Wherever the field is wrong, they will put a red star mark. And finally, the details will be displayed at some location. Such forms also required sometimes. First, we will see how to handle them. So what is validation state? So every form comprises of two levels of validation. Every form comprises of two levels of validation. Input state and form state. Input state is the process of verifying. Input state is the process of verifying every field individually. Input state is the process of verifying every field individually. Form state is the process of verifying all fields simultaneously at the same time. Form state is the process of verifying all fields simultaneously at the same time. And what is the specialty is Formic provides both input and form state validation. Formic provides both input and form state validation. So input state validation you have seen already. We write our own validations and all. Form state validation, I will tell you how it works. See, it's very simple actually. Suppose you see, I click register button and you see it shows me some errors. That means your form is still having some problems. Then why you have enabled register button again? That is not good, na? That means if form is having errors, why you are allowing to submit? That's not good. That means what we have to do, if all fields are valid, then enable this register. Otherwise, just disable. Otherwise, accidentally they may be pushing the button again and again. You will see that users will submit even if it is not necessary. Then server burden increases because every time we post, it should verify. Then what is the best way is don't allow to submit until or unless it is valid. That's good. For example, this is okay. This is register form. Suppose we are designing some edit form. You see in your websites after login, you will have account details. You can edit your account details. When you open the edit form, they will allow you to edit the name, edit the date of birth or some details. You can modify them. There you will find, there you will find a button called, here I will add one more button just roughly. There you can find a button called save. So I will give just simply some gap. You can find a button called save. And what is the nature of this save button is, don't show the save button until or unless they do some modification. You know, lengthy forms, you have seen passport, visa like forms. They will give page by page form filling. That means only one form, but you have to fill 3, 4 pages. And in every page, if you observe, they auto save the data, or sometimes they give a save button so that next time you can continue from there. Have you observed? But the save button, when it should work, when I have done some modification, then only save button should work. Otherwise, it should not. That means it depends on whether the form is modified or not. Which field modified? Any of the field is modified, then save button should work. So we have to verify all fields at a time. Right? This is called form state. And for that, what solution Formic people are having? Form state validation is very important. If you have to do this in JavaScript, very difficult. I will guarantee that you never tried it. Have you ever done this? No. But it is regular requirement in a form. You never done very basic thing which is required for every form. When we design a form, how you design a form to submit again and again without proper data? That means you just learned how to design a form, write some logic, that's it. Your forms are not still with good interface. They are not having good validations. That means you never done such validation. If you have done, there is lengthy process for that. Collect every field, verify every field is valid or not. It's a very tough job actually in JavaScript. But now in React, it is simple. Why? Because Formic have ready-made functions for that. What is that? See, what are the ready-made functions it is having? So Formic have, Formic has predefined form state services. Form state services has predefined form state services. Like we have ready-made form state services, like we have touched, that is a service. We have a form state service touched. Touched is a service which returns true if any field is modified. That means if any field, actually if any field is touched means it got focus, not modified, just focus. You click inside and you came out, then it is called touch. If you modified, then it is called dirty. If you have made some changes, then it is called dirty. So we have touched and we have dirty. Touched indicates that you went there, but you haven't done anything. Sometimes what you do, you click inside and you don't do anything and go out. So generally what happens is you click inside and came out, it will show warning saying that you can't leave this empty. You have learned events like focus and blur, right? We can manage that. Initially, you see here, what is the point about dirty? Dirty means you click inside and came out. That is called touch. You click inside and type something, then it is called dirty. So see, what is the logic for us? The logic is this save button, your wish. You want to hide or you want to disable. If you want to disable, just use the word disabled. This disabled will get a logic dynamically. Disabled is a boolean, it will take true or false. What is the condition? Condition is if ternary operator we are using. If formic dot, we have formic na. If formic dot dirty, you see there is a dirty property. We have dirty, we have like touched. We can verify touched. We have dirty, we have like, so is valid. You have like is valid. As of now, we need what? Dirty. That means if it is dirty, dirty means if it is modified. If it is modified, then disabled must be false, na? Am I right? Disabled must be false. Otherwise, disabled must be true. That means form this button must be disabled true if it is not modified. If it is modified, dirty means modified. Dirty will return true if it is modified. Touched will return true if it is touched. Now see what happens here. You will see that save button is not working. It is disabled now. Now I click inside and click outside. It will not work because that is not dirty, that is touched na. We want dirty, then what we do, click inside and type something, then automatically save button will work now. Right? That means you can enable only when any modification happen. You will see in almost every form where they give edit option, they will give a save button, it will not work. Save button will work only when you do some modification. Sometimes if anybody asked you like, no, I don't want to disable, I want to hide it, that means don't show this button, show this button only when it is dirty, then how you will do? How you can dynamically show and hide? We can use our css classes of bootstrap. Bootstrap have css. Bootstrap class is d none d block, right? We are having styles also we can use. For example, see, I will remove this and here I am writing a class name. Okay, already the class name above I will put a class name called mx2. Here class will come dynamically. And how do you apply the class? It depends on condition. What is the condition? Formic. Formic dot what? Dirty. If formic is dirty, then what to do? Question mark. If it is modified, then what we have to do? D inline I will give. D inline means display inline. Otherwise, what it is? D none. Actually, these are bootstrap classes to show and hide. We can hide any element using D none, which is display none, and D inline is in the same line. And you see now, here it is not showing save button. And when I click inside and I type something, then save button will come. That means we can show hide or we can disable enable. This is very important in validation. You cannot allow to submit, you cannot allow to save until or unless some modification done. Now one more point. Now tell me how to enable register only when it is valid. How to enable register only when it is valid. So what we have to do for this register button, we have to use what? Disabled. Disabled depends on a condition. What is that condition? Formic dot what is valid. If it is valid, if form is valid means all the fields are valid, then what to do? Disabled is false, na? Otherwise disabled is true. And you will see that initially the form is there, register is there. Now what you have done? So you done some modification in it and you will see that register is disabled now. And you entered the proper data, everything is properly entered, +91, everything is properly entered. Now the register button will work. If any problem is there, it will not work. This is very important in validation, not just verifying one field, all the fields also verify. That is done by using a form state. We have touched, we have dirty, another one we are having is valid, another one we have errors. Actually, errors will return all errors. All the summary of errors are present in which location? Errors. So what is the meaning of touched? So here I will give few points. touched returns true if any form field get focus. Touch returns true if any form field get focus. That means you click inside, means it is touched. When you click inside, automatically it gets focus. And dirty returns true if any form field value is modified. Dirty returns true if any form field value is modified. Or if it is empty when you input. When user inputs, it becomes dirty. Is valid returns true if all form fields are valid. Returns true if all form fields are valid. True is a boolean. True is a boolean type. Another important errors. Errors returns an object that comprises of all fields and their error messages. All fields and their error messages are present in errors. All fields and their error messages are present in errors. Right. And here I will give a simple syntax for that. Suppose we have a button disabled that depends on formic dot is valid. False, otherwise true. Like this we can put some this is register. Some disabled formic dot dirty true or false. That depends. Your wish, you can give anything. Just roughly I'm giving. Just rough syntax I given. Logic can be anything you want. Best logic is valid, true. Disabled is false. That is the correct one. Now, one more point is how to display the summary of all errors in one place. How we can show all the errors in one place. Actually, see, if we want to display errors all in one place, then better you first remove from everywhere. Here, everywhere errors are there individually, they remove them because I want to show in one place there. Then what you can do here, let's keep this in the form. I'll keep a heading. I'll just keep a div, a heading. So please check the following errors in form. Just roughly I given it. Please check the following errors in form. That's the message we are having. And actually, roughly I given, and this should display the list of all errors below. In an unordered list, it should display. I will put here text danger. Okay. All the errors, how you will display here now. What to do? You saw that formic.errors will return all fields and their error messages. That means it is an object which returns all fields and error messages. You want to display only messages, then you can use, actually, you learned object dot keys method. Na? It will return all the fields. But you have object.values. It will return all the values. Object.keys will return all the field names. Object.values will return all the messages. Object.values. So which object? Formic.errors. From that object, it will collect all the values. And it is a map. We have to read every error. And for every error, we need to create one list item. This list item should have a key, that is error, and it should have a value. And what is it? Error. And you can see the list of all errors will come there. Currently, we are having a error in mobile now. Suppose age error is there. It will show that age error also. Age is required, mobile is there. All errors summary will be displayed in one place. And I entered everything properly. I entered everything properly. Now it is okay. Now I don't want this to display. You can do that. That area should come only when there are some errors. Na? Tell me what to do. This area should display only when there are some errors. Then what to do? Here you have to use dynamically, you have to put a class name, and that is class dynamically come by using, what is it? Formic dot what is valid. If formic is valid, then what to do? We have to display none. Otherwise, we need to display block, not inline block below, right? And you can add one more here. You can put a binding expression. Actually, multiple classes if you want to apply. I will put a style and I will put color as what? Red. And you can see now the errors are not there. And when there is a problem and I click register, all the error messages will come below. Right? So if we are filling all the fields correctly, we are filling all the fields correctly and defining them, then it will hide them. We can show and hide toggle according to the requirement. This is very important for validation summary, how you can get the summary. So one more important point is actually formic errors. Object. Formic errors object is used to summarize, the form errors. It is used to summarize the form errors. It is used to summarize the form errors. So syntactically, you can get object dot values formic dot errors. So what it do? So returns all error messages. It returns all error messages. Error messages array. It's an array of all error messages. So in the example, I'm using it. So we can try that. Okay, now one more point is that all combination we have to learn here. Another point is, see, when you are designing a form, suppose I clicked inside the form field and I click outside, then you see it's not showing any error. Why? Because currently errors are only on change. Because which event you return on change na? When a value is typed, then only it is verifying. No, we want to verify whenever user clicks and don't enter anything and come out, we have to show him a warning. That means on blur also. Blur na? Blur means loses focus and focus means get the focus. On blur also we have to verify. So Formic have so many events. So one more thing. Formic provides various events for verifying the form data. Formic provides various events for verifying the form data. Like what? On change, on blur, and on submit, like this. So verifying Formic provides various events. Actually, for these events, Formic Formic has predefined functions for validation events. They have functions for validation events like handle change, like handle blur, like handle submit. They have these events also. Events and relative functions are ready made. On click, on change, on blur, on submit, these are general events. Already we know these are synthetic events. For them, ready-made functions are there. We used only on change function. We can use on blur also. If I use on blur, then it will verify whether the field valid or not when it loses the focus. Currently, it is verifying only on change and on submit. On submit also it is verifying, on change also verifying. You see now, I click inside and click outside, it's not verifying. I am typing something, it is verifying. But I want to verify on blur also, I need to verify. So in the Formic here for the fields, you can add that event also on blur. On blur is equal to Formic dot what? Handle blur. We can use it. Then if you attach them, then it will verify on two situations. You click inside and click outside, then it will verify. But remember, these are all form state events. That means they will verify all the fields. How to verify only specific field? Next level, you will see that. It should not verify all of them now. I click inside a field and click outside only, that should verify. That you will see in the next point. So technically here, when I click inside and outside, it is verifying. So if you want validation to occur on blur, on change, on submit, you have to write all of them. So for every element, you can write on blur as well as on change. So for this, they have a shortcut. Shortcut is nothing but they say that if you want validation to happen on every event, then no need to write like this lengthy. We have a shortcut for you. And what is that shortcut is you don't need to write on blur, on change, both of them. I will remove now. Okay, obviously, if you remove them, then you will see that the validation will not fire up when I click outside. Validation, click on register, it is verifying here. Why? Because it is on submit na? On submit. But when I click here, I'm typing, it's not verifying because on change is not there, on blur is not there. It is verifying only on submit. Now you want to attach all events for every element is lengthy. Then they have a shortcut for this. You can put a dynamic expression. We can use dot dot dot. You know, this is a spread operator, na? Right? We can use a formic. Formic have a method called get field properties. Get field properties. Which field? Mention the field name. Field name is what? Username. That means in Formic, for this username field, whatever events are there, all events will spread here. On change, on blur, everything will spread here. That means it's not necessary to write individually events. You can spread those events. Means all events will work now. Now you will see here, I'm not writing on change. You see, I'm not writing any on change, on blur. I click inside and it is working. And I click inside and I am typing, it is working without writing on change event. This is also one question in interviews. They ask, they show you a screen, they say that there is no on change, but how it is verifying? Because two-way binding requires an on change event. There is no on change, how it is verifying? Because it may be using a spread operator. But which one is best? This spread operator is good if you want validation to happen on every stage. We don't want like that. Sometimes we don't want to verify on blur. We want to verify only on change. Then we cannot use this. If you use this unnecessarily, it will verify everyone. Every event it will verify. We don't want that. Then better you write only what you want. If you want to verify on every event, you can use it. So what is the technique here? So here 2 points are there. You can configure all event handlers individually. You can configure all event handlers individually. Input type is text, name is username, on change is equal to formic dot handle change, on blur is equal to formic dot handle blur, like this. You can configure all event handlers using a spread approach, using a spread operator. You can configure all event handlers using a spread operator. So how you do? Input type is text, name is username, formic dot get field props, and the field is username. Just for clarity, I'm giving like this. Formic dot get field properties and the field name. It will get all the properties of it and it will spread. So we have input state validation, form state validation, and how do we configure? But the problem, there is more simple technique for designing the form, handling the form. We have more simple technique. What is problem here is, can you tell me what is that formic I'm using everywhere? What is this formic I'm using everywhere? I'm using everywhere this formic, na? What is it? So what is the formic we are using everywhere? That is the reference of a hook called use formic. Am I right? We have a hook called use formic. For that use formic hook, we have a reference. That's what we created now. What is this formic dot handle submit, formic dot get field properties and all? That is the name of this now. That means it is the reference of a hook. And usually hook is a function. What is the major drawback problem here is these hooks are not allowed in class components. Hooks are not allowed in class components. So the old versions of React.js projects which uses classes for components, they cannot use this at all. They cannot use this at all. There is no use. That means hooks are not allowed in classes. That means you have to try something which is not designed using hooks. Why they are not allowed in classes, you are going to learn when we learn class. Currently, we are working with which type of component? Function. And hooks are not use state, use effects also will not work. If you are dealing with any old project, there you will not find use state, use effects, use reference, all these will not be there. Then what to do there, I will show you in the next level when we learn class components. So what is problem in this formic hook? You cannot use in a class component. Now, if you are using class component, there is more simple way. That means you can design a form in simple way and you can validate the form in simple way. We can collect the data from the form in a simple way. For that, formic have ready-made components. Ready-made components are present. You can use them and you can design. Let's see the point here. First, I will copy this. And this is an example for complete validation. This is the example for complete validation, how to handle the form. Now, what is the solution if hook form is not supported? That means one simple note we will give here. Hooks are not allowed in class components. Hooks are not allowed in class components. So you cannot use formic hook for designing and validating a form. You cannot use formic hook for designing and validating a form. So what is the solution is formic provides predefined components. Predefined components which allow to design and validate form without hooks. we can design and validate the form without hooks. And what are the components it is having is formic, form, we have a field and error message. These are ready-made components. By using these components, we can easily design a form and we can set up the validation for the form. And you don't need any hooks for this. So these are good. Even in function components also you can try. But what is problem in them is they will not allow to modify each and every design that you want. They have ready-made. Component means ready-made na. Already they are having everything, you just customize. If you want to design your own way, then you write the above approach. Now you want to use ready-made, then better you can go with this. Now how to use this, we will see tomorrow. Right? In tomorrow's session, we will learn how to use these components. Then you will feel that you will feel like it is more simple than what you have learned. That means it's a more simple way of validating. But for tomorrow, I will give you one task. You have to get prepared with that and come tomorrow. And what is the task for you is, I am explaining one library now. There is another library called React Hook Form. React Hook Form is a library. What is your job is visit their official website. We have a website, React Hook Form. This is the official website, React Hook Form. You visit this official website, right? And what you have to do is know about this library. Tomorrow I will ask you some questions. You have to tell me what is this library, how it works. Understood? Huh? That means you should able to learn one library by yourself. Right? I will show you how to learn by ourselves. I will show you the correct process, how to explore. But first you try this. I will check first how much you understood by yourself. After that, I will explain. If you are having any misunderstanding, I will explain. Generally, everywhere we have to learn the technology like this. If we are trying to discuss a topic in the next session, you should first get prepared with the topic and come. That's how generally corporate level training usually happens. But here you people have a different mindset, right? Generally, you know, React.js is a 2-day session for real-time developers. Earlier, few years back, means before COVID, when we used to conduct React sessions, Angular sessions, do you know 2 days only React.js? Weekend sessions we used to have React 2 days. That means Saturday, Sunday, weekend sessions will happen. 5 hours Saturday, 5 hours Sunday, React.js complete. That means for a software developer to learn a technology like React, it just only 10 hours time. But you are learning 2 months. The point here is you must able to explore several concepts by yourself. So first what you do, visit this website, check what it is, and tomorrow I will ask you some questions. Let's see how much you can answer. And I will explain how to learn these libraries and I will show you how to use it. This is another library for form. One is Formic, another famous one is Hook Form. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay, get prepared with that. We'll see tomorrow. Okay.